The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight I have a very good friend of mine as my guest. He's a filmmaker. He's an artist. He's a writer. And he's in the studio today. His name is Lindley Farley. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
Good, except we do have another guest, and that's that fly that's flying around here.
Let's call him Mickey.
Okay, we'll call him Mickey. Hi, Mickey. So, it's been a while.
Yeah, 7 years.
And 7 years ago, and we found out today, 7 years ago, what happened?
We started filming the Fez Belcher show, the massive, what started as a web series became a movie. Yeah, and you were in it.
I was in it, but and even recently, you shared with everyone a review that was like astonishing.
Yeah, there have been a few reviews that have been really good, and it elevates your spirits because they work at this thing for a long time, and you don't know if it's any good, and then someone justifies and you. Nothing better.
So how many years have you been working on film?
Oh, my God. Professionally, or at least I should say tactically, because it's been touch and go since 1989.
Right. And what was the first big one you did?
The first short I made was Boss of the Ballet, which won awards.
Okay. And
then we made a feature called The Bulls Night Out in 1994, which did quite well too. And that was, and here's the luck, of the artist. It was going to be remade by Burt Reynolds.
Wow.
And Lou Gossett. Burt Reynolds, Lou Gossett. It was about four retired policemen who hang out in a bar.
Right.
They couldn't raise the money, and then Reynolds wound up dying or something. But I did get a little money for the option, the script.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that I didn't know. That's like really.
Yeah, that's easy to Google. Yeah.
No, I believe it, but I didn't know it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like incredible. So, what was your next big project after that?
Then I made a film called The Rodneys.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, about the four African American kids who become British invasion singers, and then Fez Belcher. In between, I wrote a book too, but that was.
And you're an artist. I mean, all over your apartment you have your paintings. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and on Facebook, it's great. So, what have you been working on? Have you been working on any projects lately?
I have. I've been working on this. You're going to get a kick out of this. As a kid, I always wanted a big train set. So my
like a Lionel train set?
Yeah, and I always put up. And in the '80s, I made a pretty big one, but it was never. It was always kind of ragtag and taking that through. So my sister hired a workman, and she said, "Yeah, take the train set down and." We're going to make this basement into a waiting area while we have the laundry in the back. And this Jamaican worker, Paul, said, "What do you mean take the train set down? That's the best thing in the basement. Let's put it back up." And he went to work and he built this massive, multi-layered thing. And then now I've jumped into it.
Right.
And so, really for the last 2 or 3 months, I've been like, like I'm working this train set.
I used to love it. I loved my train set.
Yeah.
My best buddies.
Well, you got to see mine. You'll come over and see it because this is extraordinary. It's maybe twice the size of the studio.
Right. I just loved turning on the
box and I think it relates to directing and creative. It's somehow you're controlling this field.
Right.
And you feel like I would say, I guess empowered is the word. And you're running this world, and your imagination's going with it. Again, it was
a big thing.
Yeah.
And what was the construction sets that they used to call?
Oh, erector sets.
Oh, the erector sets. So I had the erector set. I also had the cars, like the little.
The slot cars. Yeah. I did. I did too. I just think that it might have something to do with the creative mind.
Right. And that was before digital stuff. So you actually had to do things with
with the hands. Yeah. Laying on of the hands.
In a way, it was digital because you're using your fingers.
Right.
But it's a different kind of digital.
Right.
So
manually. Yeah.
So what's going on with what the new project? What's the name of it again? The one that you're going to share today.
Oh well, I made after Fez Belcher, I made a series of short films.
Right.
And the one we're going to see tonight is called The Family Graves, and it's a drama about a African-American family who's very contemporary, debating of what patriotism means.
Right.
And how that relates to a black family. So you have the military father,
right.
And then you have the college student politically active son, and they don't agree on what they don't, and they don't even talk to each other in the film because they're so opposed. But then you have this dynamic. It's 30-minute short. And
so the question, I mean, is this your first? Is this the first time you went into like a drama?
Straight drama, probably. I mean, the Bulls Night Out, the cop movie, was sort of dramatic, but it had funny elements to it, and people did often comment that it's funnier than it sounds. So this one is, there were no laughs in this one.
So do you want to set up the shot that they're going to see?
Yeah, so the father, who again is this, military martinet, and, sees himself and he lost his leg in battle, and rah-rah United States. So when he loses his sons to, he loses his sons philosophically. He feels that they're not patriots, when in fact they are patriots, but they're not the kind of patriots that he understands.
Right.
They're just,
it's generational difference.
Right. So he decides he's going to take his message to the local schoolyard and tell the kids about what it means to be an American, and on and on. And that's,
okay. So you want to share this little?
Please, yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. So enjoy.
Children, hold the basketball, please. Thank you. Does anyone here know who Crispus Attucks was? Crispus Attucks was the first man to die in Boston Harbor at the outset of the American Revolution. An African American who gave his life for this burgeoning nation. This freedom comes at a cost. Up from the grips of slavery, we rose to become citizens of the greatest nation that God has ever seen fit to grace this planet. When your time comes and you become of age, I hope that you see fit to follow the lead of Crispus Attucks. Great things are in store for African Americans in your generation. Please remember, this freedom is yours to keep or lose. I bid you farewell.
Wow. So that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Who's the actor?
His name is Gregory Holtz. He worked in the Rodney. So I've worked with a lot of people over and over. He's just a wonderful actor. And he just made another film with me, another short called Camping Trip.
Right.
And so, and hopefully we'll get you back. And
well, I'll tell you, I was between working and trying to act. I always felt I couldn't spend enough time to really actually do the best job I possibly can. Now I have the luxury of time to work and
good for you. And you need to. You're talented.
And devote myself totally to it.
I remember your first film too, The Right Stuff.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great to be back. It's great to see you. You also did another project with John. What's his name? John? Oh, the tall guy.
Oh, right. Yeah, Man of Danger.
Right.
That's one of the shorts we did, and
that looked so cool.
That is my, of all the films I made, it's not my favorite, but just the sort of joy of doing, because it's about a guy sits home and watches a 1960s TV show called The Man of Danger, and he watches it on a retro channel.
Oh, I see.
Then he acts out what he sees on the screen on the street, breaking heads.
It looked good. I didn't get a chance really to see it.
Yeah, but creating that 60s environment, and I really got into it.
What is it, noir?
Yeah, but you see the show,
right?
But then you see the guy watching the show,
right?
And you don't see him hit actually, but what happens? You see the news reports coming in.
Yeah, that also seemed like a little bit different from.
Yeah, and that's the only film I've made where I said I would love to do a sequel or some follow-up. John McHatton is the actor.
Oh, that's a John, right?
Right.
And I've worked with him. So
Yeah.
I mean, he
Amazing.
always brings a lot to the.
Let me tell you how good he is. We, in the when he wrote the script, it was kind of humorous, and I wrote it kind. It's based obviously based on the Secret Agent Man. What's the other Peter Gunn?
That's definitely.
And it was written tongue in cheek. He was having none of it. John played that role straight to the point that I took it more seriously, and I said, "Yeah, this is going to be." And he just pitch perfect, and I love working with an actor like that who really makes me think about what I did.
He
makes
brought
it
a lot.
better.
I did like a scriptless show that I used to do, and I had him, and he was like extremely intense.
Yeah,
and he was really into the part.
Yeah.
It was like
he's as good as anything I've seen on screen anywhere lately.
And he has a good look as well.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
He's like a total package.
I mean, you see these. I mean, he's Ben Affleck plus. I think he's got a better voice than Ben Affleck.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else is cooking? Any comedies down the road?
I do. I'm actually going to. I haven't done this lately. I'm going to try to market a screenplay I wrote called Rogue President. It's a comedy about the president of the United States kills the first lady and then has to go on the run. And he goes on the run with the beasts, and so everywhere he goes, he's trying to hide out, but he can't hide with the flags and the car.
Oh, that's crazy.
But there's a twist in it too. So it plays with that for a while with the murdering the first lady, but it turns out it's about something else and very political.
Right. I don't know. I'm always nervous about putting political things out there.
Well, this is enough fun. It's not taking sides per se. I mean, it's taking sides of peace because he's trying to. Who cares?
Well,
he's trying to sign a peace deal, and it's a ruse of him killing the wife, so that the Washington goes on vacation or they go into mourning while he's signing a peace deal.
Right. For me, in terms of politics and fear, I came from like a pretty progressive family in the 50s, and we were in a very right-leaning neighborhood. So it was
I can understand.
So we got a lot of grief. Combination of being Jewish and
and in those days,
progressive,
communist was thrown around easily,
exactly.
or pinko,
a lot of bad stuff back then.
yeah.
And it seems like, well, not to get too political, but it seems like that's what's happening right now as well. But that's it. So it's nice to be back working again. Did you do a lot of work during the pandemic?
Yeah, like we made the 4 short films. We made this one, Family Graves. We made Man of Danger.
Did you do it?
A Little Girl Who Reads. There's another one we made, and that's a nice one.
What was that about? A little girl who reads.
Yeah, it literally, she's made fun of in school for not having a cell phone.
Oh, I see.
And so her father sent her to the library instead, and she becomes this avid book reader. It's short. It's like 5 minutes.
That's it.
Gia Balani is the actress.
So. I'm still amazed at your process. You do everything. You write, you film, you edit, and you usually do it with one camera, right? I mean,
I don't shoot. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you've always been able to do it, and you always come up with a quality product.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's weird. Like,
well, I tell you, I'm going to be a little hyper. I've been watching a couple of these Hollywood films lately, and they're all highly produced, well acted.
Right.
But the scripts seem like they're written by C- students. They just have. I'm thinking to myself, how do they pass an English course? Yet get into
Well, you are a very good writer. Yeah. I mean, in terms of, and you know it. But I mean, your comedy is like pitch perfect. It's like, and you know it. I mean, you see the reactions of people with the jokes you put in. Where does it come from?
Reading. You read books. you read Mark Twain. You read Susan Sontag. You read just.
Have you always been a prolific writer, or?
Yeah, I started pretty early on. Right. Yeah, I actually wrote a novel when I was like 14, 15.
Wow.
And but I'm not. That's not. It wasn't good.
No, but I mean, well, it's
probably better for
I mean, it's very difficult to judge your own work.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're always going to be more critical than other people.
Exactly.
Right.
But I.
But you're also like an artist. I mean, when did you start paint? I mean, it's like it pours out of you in the script.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't distinguish between the two.
Right.
But I don't work. I never work in the same. I don't paint and do films at the same time. So usually if I'm making films, it's for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Then I switch to painting for a year, 2 years.
Oh, I see.
So that they don't intersect.
Right.
And
so it requires your full attention.
Yeah. And in fact, the only thing that matters to me is the effect on the audience. That have I made something that impresses them? Almost like a magician in a way. It's fine. I was thinking about recently how a magician, you don't, if it works properly, you're not supposed to think about the process. You're just in awe of the
creation,
effect, right? And so that I don't want people to think about the process, or
right.
I want them just to be emotionally taken.
Yeah, I think all the work I've ever been proud of is really how it came out rather than the actual I mean, when it's natural, if it just pours
Well,
out.
I mean, I think there's certain process-oriented artists. I mean, I always marvel at like a jazz and certain actors who never look at their work.
Right.
It's once they do it, it's done, and they have done with it. And I always return to my work 5-6 years later. What does it look? How does it affect me now? Right. How am I different?
So, what's your motivation? I mean, why do you do it? Because
I don't know.
Because to me, it's like not like my wife is always saying. Basically, like, am I a show off? Like, why do I do? Why do I do
that? Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Is it ego? I don't think so. There's something. It's like a politician. A good politician wants to affect change.
Right.
Bernie Sanders wants to affect change.
Absolutely.
Franklin Roosevelt, the people. It's Ralph Nader even.
Right.
They want to affect change.
Right.
And they're just the vehicle to do it. And I feel that's what you do, what I do.
Right.
I'm the vehicle to
right.
not affect change, but to affect a sensibility.
Right. So you're trying, but is it communication? Is it?
Of course, yeah. I think you're communicating something that you hope no one else. Also, if someone else does an idea that I had.
Right.
I don't say, hey, they stole my idea. I say, I think, thank God somebody's saying this so I don't have to.
Right.
I can do something else.
Right. It's interesting that the motive. Like I mean, what drives us? You know what I mean? It's what is the force?
Without it, I'm nothing. I mean, I would be bland.
Right.
I'd be kind of all my identity is wrapped up in what I do.
And you do it well. I mean, there's no question about it. But it is interesting, the whole drive aspect of it. Like why, I'm 69 years old. Personally, I'm thinking about like, what am I still trying to do? Like why, is it ever over? And I don't think so. It's like, to me, it's like I keep on wanting to get, and it's sort of like chasing a certain feeling also, because I like to get to the point where it's like, trying to get that work to be the best I've ever done. That the feeling of
the line by Picasso, right? What's your favorite work, Pablo? The next one.
That's it, and that's it. I'm always hoping that I'll have that feeling that I've had, a few times in my life. You know? And every now and then it happens, but sometimes in between it doesn't happen. And that's
I would say to that point. I made a film that I don't show. There's a film I made called To Be Frank, which didn't work,
right,
and that's buried.
Well, that's interesting. Did it have to do with a person named Frank or no?
It just didn't come together, and it had a lot of people involved. In fact, JT was involved with it. He cast it, and we shot it, and it's a B for me, B- film for me.
No, I just did a movie called Frank. That's why I'm wondering. It was about two guys named Frank.
Yeah.
But that's why I was wondering if it had to do with a guy named Frank.
I should have named it because people worked in my scene. Because JT and all this people. JT worked hard on it, but I said,
yeah, I remember.
I might go back to it because it could be saved.
Yeah, we got it. JT hasn't been doing that.
I know. Yeah, no.
But he did get me a location when I worked with John to do. I was going to try to do. Another scriptless series, and we got to this bar, and it was during a soccer match. Like
yeah, I know that.
So I couldn't.
You couldn't talk.
I mean, the amount of noise in the background. I mean, it was like
they put the Super Bowl to shame, and it's in New York. The soccer's taking hold.
Crazy. So I got my Moderna shot. So I got it 2 days ago. So I might not be 100%, but I'm so happy I got it.
You're sharp.
Do you get?
Yeah. Well, that's what I got was. My arm was sore for a couple of days after. I don't know which one I got, but it's been since November. I didn't know they had a new one out yet.
Yeah, they just got it out this month, and it's for the new variant that's coming out.
Okay,
so you should get it, even if it's not. November. It's.
Well, I'll get it with the flu shot because I get it. Well, I get my flu shot.
Yeah, but it did come out, and
I know. Yeah, and I know people have been getting it again. Yeah,
right. But I'm also saying that the new one came out, and
how's your arm feel?
this is the first time, maybe because I've been working out and the muscles have been,
Yeah.
you know, like this lady jabbed me and it was like, oh, it hurt from the time she gave it to me.
Yeah,
but
no.
yesterday I was like spaced out and all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm fine now. But my wife was like not feeling well yesterday, and I wasn't feeling too good either. But I feel pretty good today. It took 2 days for me to feel good again.
Okay, good for you.
So, and I'm going to be going on a cruise in a couple of weeks.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's a northern cruise. We always go on cruises, my wife and I, now that we have all this time, we go by, get the best deal on cruises, So we'll get like a cruise that's going to Canada. Might be a
I
little
did
bit-
that when I was a kid. We did the Alaskan cruise.
Oh, I haven't done that.
My family cruise,
That's
yeah.
one of the ones we want to go on.
Yeah, I haven't been on one since, but that was the one.
But we like it
didn't
because
see.
it's all inclusive. We don't have to worry
Yeah.
about going to a dinner, figuring out what restaurant. Now that we have all this time being retired, it's like
Right.
It's crazy.
Oh, your wife retired as well.
Yeah, she retired a long time ago.
Okay.
But she's does a lot of work at home. So it's not like her retirement has been like hard work for the last 30 years. So it's
Yeah.
and she doesn't have she doesn't have the same outlet that I have with this acting thing. So
Oh,
it's,
that's you got to find something that.
yeah. But she's happy.
She can use my train set.
So, I mean, how is aging to you?
Yeah. Asians have been very nice to me.
No, aging.
Oh,
aging.
it's interesting. I'm not as malleable as I used to be physically. I fell down last week.
Oh my God.
Over a rock at a Long Island Jewish hospital. There's a big stone
Right.
planted in the ground. I was looking this way and just tumbled over. Not fully, but I bruised myself. But just the next day, it was not like when you're young. You kind of just bounce back. It's like it's like, oh, I'm still sore and my shoulder still hurts. And I'd fallen a year earlier at the screening of Man of Danger.
Right.
So it was the second fall in a year.
In front of, this happened at the screening?
Outside. It was winter. Yeah. I mean, just, again, not paying attention, tripping on a stone. And prior to that, I even made a little Facebook post. I hadn't fallen down and tripped in maybe 10 or 15 years. But
that's something. I remember,
it was not age related, just not paying attention.
right.
I
I told you earlier that I got sick in 2021.
Yeah.
I fell a couple of times then because I just was like, I went from like being heavy to what I basically look like now.
Yeah.
So, but now that I'm in shape, I haven't been falling, knock wood, all this stuff. It's, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I've been jogging. I actually started jogging 2 years, but I'd stopped and now I've been jogging pretty regularly for the last month and a half.
That's good. I mean, it's
Not
good
far,
to have.
not far,
Right.
but enough.
It's good to get something.
Yeah.
My wife now is even going to
Yeah.
the gym, which is amazing.
As long as I can get out of the car without making a noise, I'm fine.
Well, one of the benefits of, I can't believe we're talking about, I brought it up, being older, is that because I'm on Medicare Advantage, you get free gym membership. So, and there's just a gym like less
they
than
want
right down the block.
Yeah, and insurance companies want you healthy. Yeah,
That's it. But I want me healthy too.
Yeah,
especially for being on camera. So it's interesting. But when I see myself now on camera versus even like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it's like a totally different person.
Yeah.
And I don't like that person. I mean,
well, you're great in Fez Belcher. You're Manny.
I
Orphan
look-
Manny.
I did like the way I looked, especially in your when in the earlier scenes. But I was probably about 25 pounds heavier.
That
than
much more? Wow. Yeah. There's no
I'm
change.
like 145 pounds. I never was 145 pounds,
Yeah,
except
yeah.
like even when I was in my best weight when I was in Hollywood, I was 155 pounds.
Well, I'm ashamed to say I'm cracking 200 pounds, and I'm coming down.
Well, I was like 190 at one point, but
Yeah.
not when I was doing the Fez Belcher stuff, but I was about 170.
Well, I still have a project for you. We're going to do Traffic Stop.
I know.
The couple going home for the
Yeah, I was thinking about
wedding.
that too.
Yeah.
The one thing about this show now is that like I only do it once a month now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really only trying to get the people I really want to speak to and have on the show. That's why I got in touch with you. But it's interesting. I mean, for a few years they didn't have the show. This show was
because of COVID?
right?
Yeah.
And also they lost the studio.
Yeah.
So, but now they have this new studio. It's a little different. It's totally. I mean, now there's like the
Well, you can
screen.
stand up.
Yeah, it is. But it's an interesting setup. even the mics, but they also do like podcasts from here and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I can
So
see
this
it,
is like I guess the basic podcast setup.
yeah, I think it's up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan works here.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But it's pretty cool. You know, it's right next to the movie
The movie theater. Yeah, yeah. It looks like a nice theater too. I would,
Yeah, it almost went under, but they just
do they do? You know, it might be a good place to try to start a festival too. Does Mamaroneck have a festival?
No.
There you go.
And maybe it could be affiliated with LMC. I was thinking about that. You know.
Yeah,
also.
I mean, I think that's a. I mean, that field is wide open.
And I was actually thinking about making a television show that would just highlight short films. You know, here. Ask them to have a show here, and you know, just
if you have any relationship with the management, get to work on that.
Well, I know them for 12 years.
I'd be glad to help you with that. Yeah, we can. I've been thinking about things like running a festival. I ran a Young Black Cinema Public Theater back in the '90s, and it was hugely successful. Not because of me, but because of the films.
And they're always looking for something along this Mamaroneck Avenue thing to have, like, you know, so people come out and they go to the restaurants and all this stuff. So
yeah,
it might be something to do.
And these restaurants look darn good. I mean, if I hadn't eaten yesterday, I would eat tonight.
So, you know, so what you're still thinking about that project?
Yeah, it would be one of the short film program. I'm going to actually put these shorts out in a.
No, but I'm talking about the one that we.
Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, we have to get Mike Calderon involved because we need.
How is he?
I spent him a few months. He's fine, but I do have because it's a police pullover thing. You need the police car with the lights, etc.
And he has that.
I actually, you know who
because he was a cop, right?
Yeah, but but he also I've worked with cops at another little girl who reads, and they had everything you needed, and so, oh God, I'm blowing her name, wonderful woman, but a former police officer,
right,
who came with the partner, working police car, the lights.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And was it an actual police car?
Yeah, unmarked.
Okay,
but it had the light. Yeah,
but they had.
I don't know how they got it. I didn't ask questions.
Right. Yeah, my best.
And well, you know, related to you know Diane Hanna. I met her through JT, so she cast it.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, but she works a lot with JT. Yeah, great.
Well, JT, you know,
good actor, excellent actor.
Yeah, I don't think I met her, but maybe I know her face if I saw her.
Maybe.
But JT's been out of it for like I don't
oh,
know.
my 5 years at least. Yeah.
So how do you get your actors? Just from previous shows that you worked on?
Well, Diana's kind of taken over JT's
really
Rolodex. I get so she's cast the films recently for me.
Interesting. So maybe I should get her name.
Yeah, Diane Hanna. She's in Man of Danger too. She's in Fez Belcher. So.
Oh, okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah. But you know, as I do get old, you know, it's also the prospect of going and film shoot is becoming less desirable too, even though it's independent.
Right.
Maybe that's why I'm doing less of it. I'm doing more work with my electric trains. It's home and homebound.
Yeah, it's a lot and it takes a lot.
Yeah. Once I'm on set, it's all right, but it's always the mechanics of getting there. Right. Will something go wrong? And
right. I'm a little nervous about. I was thinking about doing scriptless again, but I don't know if I have the. You know.
Well, I wouldn't resign yourself. That's something that you should really.
Right.
Yeah, you'll know when it's time.
Right, but I still like if I have to film late at night, I just don't want to do it anymore. You know?
Yeah.
And again, that goes to the motivation factor of like, you know, like if I know that I have to work 12 hours on a film.
I see. That's one thing I never do.
Right.
I make sure people want to. Once you work 12 hours, it's hard to get the people to come back the next day.
Yeah, next day is very difficult.
Yeah. So I always make sure it's a 3-4 hour process. I make sure everything's set up, ready to go. Show up, you do your lines. Thank you, goodbye.
Right. Well, you're a good person in terms of doing films with, but some other people, you know, they want you.
Well, it was trial. I mean, when I first started, I think I did the 12-hour shoot, and then I learned I had to have a 12-hour turnaround.
I mean, when I was young, I used to do night. You know, we'd film from 6 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning for night shoots in Hollywood. But that's a different story. There's also like a lot of money.
Yeah. And tell me, how did you meet up with Phil Kaufman and write stuff?
Well, I just
one of my favorite directors. Yeah,
I didn't meet up with him. I met up with the casting people.
Okay.
And then it turned out, though, that Phil Kaufman was affiliated with my cousin Albert, but that's another story down the line, because we are getting close to the end already. But it was fun. That was a fun movie to work on. It was the first movie I ever worked on.
Yeah, I own the DVD. I have to pull out. You're evident in that. You can see
Right.
Quite evident. Yeah.
It
But
was
Phil, The Right Stuff we're talking about is the movie we're talking about. And he also made, of course, The Unbearable Lightness of Being. And
Right, and that movie was filmed by my cousin Albert. So, I mean, he was...
The Right Stuff?
No, The Unbearable
Oh, yeah. The
Lightness
Right
of
Stuff was filmed by...
I'm not exactly sure.
Deschanel.
Oh, yeah, but...
Caleb
No,
Deschanel.
I'm talking about Albert was the... Albert Bendich was the producer. They did...
Oh, okay.
It was fantasy film.
Saul's Ants, yeah. Amadeus.
And that was my cousin's... My cousin was his partner.
Yeah.
May Albert rest in peace. But we're coming up on that time.
Okay, and it's...
Yeah, well, there's only one thing left to say. That's a wrap. Good night, folks. But that's another story. It was a lot of fun.